about 30
now. Hey, it's Jane from the Compassion Project, and I am here today with Debbie Hildenbrand from Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, right? And so a bit about Debbie. She has been married to her husband, Colin, for 22 years. That's amazing. Yeah. And she has 4 grown children and 13 grandchildren. I have 2 grandchildren, and I feel blessed. Honestly, Debbie, I was like, 13? You're so lucky.
I am. It's a lot of fun, and the oldest one isn't even 10 years old, so we've had 13 of them in less than 10 years. Yeah.
Amazing. Honestly, you're so lucky. So, Debbie has been a hairstylist for 40 years, and I think just from talking to you and looking at your profile and stuff, I think it sounds like it is a passion for you because you're a people person, and I know we all love our hairdressers, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Life stories.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she's been a hairstylist for 40 years, and she has owned 3 hair salons. And now, what was the one called that I saw? What are the name of your hair salons?
I have right now, and I'm losing my there you go. The one I have that I work out of right now is called Not Just Hair. There we go. And yeah, I'm so bad at this. Oh, now when I hand them the mirror and they're trying to look at the back of their, face. But the one I have is called Not Just Hair, and people think it's called Not Just Hair because of what else do I do? But the reason it's called Not Just Hair is because here I am.
There you are. You just have to move in front of the camera there. There you go.
I don't even know where the camera is because I try to avoid cameras. There you go. Anyway, it's called Not Just Hair because it's about relationships.
It's about relationships.
Yeah, people come to you, and it's not just money. In fact, it's not. And when I got into this field, my mom left at the University of Pittsburgh because I had good grades. She wanted me to go to college. Not a college girl. I'm not a sitter. And I wanted to do hair. I've been doing hair really since I was about 6 years old. My grandma used to let me dye her hair when I was 7.
Really?
Absolutely. And I was a little kid on the porch talking to all the neighbors. And, I've always wanted to connect with people. So you get to know people, and sometimes when you work with other people, it's all about marketing and money. And I realize it's a livelihood. Some people have to push their services, and, it's different. Yeah. But, Jess lost her brother. And
I know.
For so long. And I'm in the car one day, and she called me because we had just colored her hair, and she's prematurely gray.
Let's let people know Jessica is a friend of mine that connected us. And Jessica, because she lives near you, you're her hairdresser, and she lost her brother, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I know. And you were there for her.
I was, and I initially, Jess is a good bit younger than me. I'm very good friends with her mom. I homeschooled my last 2 children. This is how I met her mom. And, just a wonderful family. Got to know Jess, and she is a character. Like, she's a one-man comedy show, but she's real. And I love people. Yeah. So the funny thing is, this is why it's called Not Just Hair. I'm in the car one day. It wasn't long after her brother had passed away, and we just tried something new on her hair. And she's getting real gray. And she says, I know Jess is cool with this. She's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Am I just going to keep having gray hair come in? I'm like, yes, the bad news is you are. You're going to keep having gray hair because I don't color what's underneath your scalp. And someone was sitting near me, and they go, oh my gosh, is this what you put up with all the time? And I'm like, it's not about her hair. This girl has been through the ringer.
No.
And it's true. It's not. Sometimes you just have to look beyond what's going on there. So you got into this business because I love people, and a lot of times in this business, you don't get a chance to love people or touch them. So if someone sits under my jar, gets their hair done, I massage their hands.
Yeah.
I listen to them. I don't even have magazines in my shop anymore because people are so stressed out. They don't even want to look at magazines, or they've got places in their hands.
So what is happening right now in Pennsylvania? I know that I was looking into it, that there's over 49,000 cases of the COVID. And how's it affecting you?
Well, first, let me tell you,
your hairstyles, you had to close down, right?
Therapist. My husband's a respiratory therapist, which makes.
Do you want to turn, Debbie? We can't see your face. Do you want to turn so we can see your face? The other way. Over more. There you go.
How do I? Okay.
There.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh, no, it's all good. But I really want to know what's happening.
Huh?
I really want to know what's happening in Pennsylvania, like with, I know you had to close down. How long have your hair salon's been closed for?
Well, they stopped small businesses, I want to say, on maybe officially the first day of April. They talked about Saturday the 28th, and then they extended it to Monday morning for people. So, yes, I have not worked since the 28th of March. I said that wrong, March.
Yeah.
And as far as the amount of COVID cases we have, if you're reading up on it, as a constantly changing animal. My husband's a respiratory therapist.
Yeah.
So, he sees this differently than a lot of people. And I fortunately am not in the financial predicament that many small business owners are. There was a time I was a single mom with 4 children. It was my only source of income.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, self-employed people can get unemployment right now. That is not true. My sister has a photography business in Pennsylvania, a very successful one doing newborns and births. And no one that I know that's self-employed in Pennsylvania has gotten any relief, and they keep telling you to look for it and changing it. I am for it, but I went to the protest in Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the media is never truthful. There were hundreds of people. They said maybe 50. It was so peaceful and kind. There were backhoes going down the main streets in Pittsburgh, and fire trucks were yahaing people. And I talked to a girl. She says, if I don't work, I'm going to lose my home. If I work, I could lose my license. And that's the hard truth for some people.
That is, I know. Like, because I know that you're in Pennsylvania, you're in the red zone or going into the yellow zone where they are opening some businesses, right?
Allegedly, but I'm not even trying to be critical when I tell you that's a daily changing. Go in and read the criteria. I mean, it's very, very foggy. And one of the main reasons our Secretary of Health has stated, and I'm a listener, I don't have to agree with you, but I want to talk and understand where you're coming from. Yeah. And they're saying you can't be open because you're one-on-one contact with people. Okay, I understand that, but so is my husband's a respiratory therapist. My cousin is in a frontline COVID hospital. She wears the same protective devices she's been wearing for 30 years, not an N95 mask, or N95, I'm sorry. And they're not getting sick because they're washing their hands and they're taking precautions. So our dentists aren't even allowed to be open. So if I stagger my clients, and I had the fear of God put in me in school in sanitation and sterilization, any one of my clients and my family members can tell you, if I drop a comb, it will never touch your head again. I mean, that's just, and my dad had a bone marrow transplant once, so we're well aware of cross-contamination. So I can stagger my clients, I can spread them out, I can wear a mask, they can wear a mask. We're not even given the option. I believe you should be given an option. You can come, or you can say, Debbie, I'm afraid, I don't want to come. Whatever makes you comfortable.
Honestly, Debbie, I feel like the same way that if it was, like if my hairdresser opened and was taking, say, one client at a time, it would be my choice if I wanted to go get my hair done, because we have to be responsible for ourselves and our own social distancing. Like I said to my husband, like sometimes he'll go out and he's like, some people are just, they're not even social distancing. And I'm like, but it's our responsibility. So you need to stay distant or do what's right for you.
Yeah, I think we have fundamental things in our life that apply to everything. We cannot change what anyone else does. We can only try to make the world a better place within our capabilities, whether you're a house or a neighbor or a garbage man. Around here, I'm kind of rural. The majority of the people have had it with this. Like, I was joking the other day and I said, I'm just ready to go get a shot of it and get sick for 2 weeks and get over and get on with my life. I am very concerned with the cultural damage that we're doing. People reporting their neighbors. 70% of the 911 calls here are people reporting their neighbors.
Really?
Like, not trusting your fellow man. Just don't, like, we have a community page. Someone's angry because there's too many people at the park. Don't go to the park. I'm sorry you're scared. I'm sorry. Like, I have a 5-year-old granddaughter on chemotherapy.
Do you?
I do. And I don't wish people dead because I'm on a different page. And my daughter's taking precautions, but we haven't quit living. My husband is one of 1,700 employees in respiratory, and just giving you like my broad appreciate you in young people. When you have new babies, you're scared. When I was younger, I was scared. I trust the government. is always going to do what's best for everybody. Well, they can't. They're too big to do what's best for everyone. But like my husband said, not one employee in his company has had it. It's home health care. And if someone's sick, they discontinue services. That being said, they take temperatures. They're doing what they can to protect people.
Yeah.
But I mean, the like mental health is a huge issue. People live in their homes that can't provide for their families. Like my husband's on a board that helps people, and I'm not going to say what it is, but I don't even know a lot about it. But I said sometimes when you hear the language and you don't know the heart of the person, you would say, "I'm afraid to help people. How can I help people?" And I don't think that's a great thing either, And it's always been my experience with myself and my children is we can love people and do the best we can and listen to other people. I think there's a whole lot of meanness going on. I don't like that. It stresses me out.
Yeah. I mean, we can only, like you say, be responsible for ourselves and how we think and how we act, because when there's a lot of pain and fear and stuff going on, we can just only deal with ourselves, right? Because your minds can get out of control. How do you stay positive? Like, do you have, like, what do you do to stay positive through all this? Because you've been
I try to be a really positive. I've had house fires. I've had 2 neck surgeries, back surgeries. Lost my parents at young ages, a little brother and little sister. So I see resilient people that have terrible things going on in their life that still reach out and love people. So that's what I always do. Can I make you a cake? Can I make you a mask? What can I do to help you? And I read that thing. I'm sure maybe you've seen it circulating. It's circulated. We're not all in the same boat. We're in the same storm, but we're in a different boat.
Yeah.
One day, and this was before this all happened, but I know a young gal that has no self-esteem, and I was going to, I had a flood in my house not long ago, and I was just like, too much going on here, and I called her up, and I knew she was going to a dinner party, and she's she doesn't know how beautiful she is. And I called her and I said, I want to come do your hair. It's purely self-centered on my part. I need to get out of the mud puddle in my house right now. Like, I need to get away from all that's going on and go do something good for someone. Yeah. Doesn't make me a rock star. This is what is better for me to reach out and make someone else's life better. So do that. I've respected that some of the people that I love have totally different views on this. I work in a garden a lot. I love to cook.
You work in the garden?
I have a garden. And I sew and I craft. They just redid my whole kitchen, like painting and things that I can do.
Yeah. Debbie, is your family there? All your grandchildren, are they all close to you?
Well, the little ones that were near me are the closest. They live about 12 minutes away. I see them once or twice a week. Initially when we were learning about this, I love my daughter-in-laws and son-in-laws. I do. I really love them. And I'm such an extrovert, and none of them are. So I had to say, okay, you guys do you, and I'll do me till we're learning something different every day. And you have to respect that someone doesn't see things the way you do. So
exactly.
And I've gotten to see those children fairly often, which is wonderful. I have a great neighborhood. And if you walked outside my house right now, there are kids playing all day long. I went past the field the other day. Children were playing ball.
Are your parks and stuff closed there?
No, our park today, they have there's a lot of inconsistency. Most places, the playground equipment is cordoned off. Yeah. But my daughter-in-law was at an Allegheny County park the other day, and they said you can use the playground equipment, just use hand sanitizer. Like, take care of yourself. Yeah. And I think that's a good idea. Can you imagine, like, children in inner cities where the best part of their day is playing basketball? Can you imagine? In abusive homes. But and I think with well intentions, probably most of the time, government officials and healthcare people think we're doing what's best. We're going to put you on bubble wrap. But then you hear other healthcare and scientists who say, no, we're not on board we think differently than so-and-so thinks. Yeah. So I'm very concerned about people that are in abusive homes. I mean, my daughters went to college and they tutored in inner city projects. There are children who have terrible home lives. Like, I don't think we're not showing that on the news. We're showing people curled up in a fetal position with, ventilators and stuff. And I don't think we're looking at the whole big picture.
I agree. Right. Honestly. Yeah. No, Debbie, I feel the same. Like, even not even just in inner city areas, but just some families that struggled before this, it's scary what's happening. Like, we don't know. There's so much. Right?
Alcoholism, addiction, drugs are so, and a couple of weeks ago, my whole family will tell you.
Your whole family was what?
My whole family would tell you. My husband, I've been married 22 years. I've probably cried 12 times in 22 years. I don't cry because I, for a long time, had to be the head of the household, the strong person, mom, dad, the protector. And that's not always a good thing. But a couple of weeks ago, I just broke down and cried because I saw this handsome, beautiful young man in a facility, and his family couldn't be with him when he was dying.
Yeah,
I did. I cried. I actually had to run in with the cops a few weeks ago, and I called the police chief and said, "What's going on over there? My husband, I need to get tires. He's a respiratory therapist. He visits people." The amount of aggression that the police showed towards me and wouldn't even listen to me, that broke my heart. And I came home that day. I'm a person of faith, and my husband knows, like, I'm a fighter, resilient, but I listen to people. I never swear or yell at them. And I came home that day. And I told my husband, I am not coming out of my room till Jesus comes back. These people are crazy. They're crazy. And, I'm in Aldi's the other day, and I have my bags, and this handsome young kid says to me, "Ma'am, you're not allowed to take your bags in there."
You're not allowed to take the bags?
I was allowed to take my bags in Aldi's, and I'm reading the signs, and he's trying to be nice. I went to take a cart for an old man. He goes, "You can't take my cart. You have to wait in line." And I was trying to help him. And this is what gets me. And I said to the young man, I go, "How did you know you can't take a bag? I'm reading all the signs." And he said, "Well, my neighbor told me." And so I'm like, well, my bags are in my arms. In Aldi here, we pack our own stuff all the time. Well, I guess we're not doing the green thing anymore because we're afraid of COVID. And then the next day, they were letting them carry bags again.
Yeah, you know what? It's just, I don't know. I just think the only thing we can do is deal with ourselves, our own heart, our own brains, because I think you'll go crazy if you try to, like, everyone is so different, and some people just approach it different, and we can only do what's best for our family and that's it, right?
And you know what I do? I do, even in my job, lots of times, because I work so close with people. When I'm out and I think that someone's being a little out there unreasonable, I tell myself, even in the police situation, their jobs aren't easy. They're overworked. They're underpaid. They're understaffed. I'm not in their position. They're not used to this either. So you have to show them grace. I was pretty mad, but you have to show them grace. And the same in the stores. I do think there are some people that like that kind of power to be able to tell people what to do. Yeah. But I don't say what I think all the time, and I still try to be kind. If I have to interact with people, like I had to return like $500 worth of ceramic tile the other day, I went in and said, "How can I make your lives easier? What's the best way to do this to protect you? Like, what can I do? Even if I'm not on the page that you're on, what can I do to make your job easier? Because you are out here with people."
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Wow. Well, I hope you are able to open your salon soon. Do you have any idea at all? I guess there's no.
It's not looking good. It's not. If our governor gets its way, it's not looking like it till at least June. But in this situation, I really hope that the federal government steps in. And you've probably been a leader of groups and been responsible for an event or something. Yeah. It's very hard to make rules that fit everyone. It's not one size fits all. So I understand if I'm managing hundreds of hair salons in Pittsburgh, I can't say, well, Debbie can open because she's a single operator. We know she's doing it, but hey, the other person might not. So I have sympathy for leadership. And, I kind of feel like right now, when people don't, and I'm not on board with everyone being at home all the time. I love you, and I'm sorry if that's what you think. I'll do what I can to help you. But I feel like we're in a position where when you were in school and some people didn't follow the rules, so you all missed recess. I kind of feel like that's what's going on with our culture,
Yeah, I think it's impossible to control everyone, and if the majority of us do our part, then hopefully it'll flatten the curves and we can get through this faster.
Our curves are flattened and our rates have dropped, and in the numbers are nowhere near where they expected.
Oh, good.
That being said, let's give credit to the fact that a lot of people did. I think what we did made sense. They're learning. Even that doctor, what's her name, Deborah Burks, or she's on the news every day. She's working with Dr. Fauci, and yesterday she said we're learning something new every day. But I think staying home, And being careful was a good thing. And I saw a meme one day. It said, "Oh, okay, kids, we learned hand washing this week. How about turn signals next week?" But are these things we should always be doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm so happy that you came on to talk about it, because it's interesting what goes on in every city. Like, it's so different. Even for us in BC, we have about 2,100 cases in all of BC, which isn't that many.
Where are you? California.
What was that?
Where are you located?
No, we're in Canada, in BC, British Columbia.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So in BC, there's I think it was yesterday, 2,145 cases confirmed, and 112 deaths. So it's so different. Like, yours is quite.
So true. It is such like, my husband's up on it, being a respiratory therapist. Like, yes, New York City, New Jersey, places where people are close together. And you look at the contradiction. Like, if you follow New York City, our healthcare people were the people in the subway, but it was overflowing with homeless people who are probably the greatest health risk. So there's so much that we're doing that's not making sense.
Yeah.
My goal is to keep being kind and doing what I can do. But I have to tell you, this has been one of the hardest things in my life, to see our world, when people say our new normal. If it comes down to me loving people and caring for people, and I'm not even kidding you, and it means I would die doing that, helping somebody, I'd take death every time. And I'm not suicidal, and I'm not self-destructive, but I've broken hearts, and I've always said that a broken heart is worse for me than a sickness. I've seen people, in very ill situations, and it's when their spirit's broken.
Yeah.
My heart. I've seen people on death's door having a good attitude about it.
Yeah.
But I see so many broken hearts. So I appreciate you taking the time to reach out to me and to others. I'm sorry, I'm kind of by the fly by the seat of my pants.
Okay, it's all good. No, it's been really great talking to you. You're a beautiful person with a big heart, and if we all just go out and try to be kind and loving to people, then everything will work out.
My family, my extended family, we get together on Sundays and we make homemade cards for, my daughter has a friend that's a nurse in a Pittsburgh hospital, or we make homemade cards and send them to people who have the kids.
Oh, that's nice.
So, we are proactively in a limited, structured way you have to do something other than just sit and wallow in this.
Yeah.
I have my moments.
True. Okay. Well, we'll sign off. And thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.